And we are back. Let's go ahead and get ready our bodies, our minds, our souls for the winner bracket final of this open bracket at Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. It's HyuN versus HasuObs. HasuObs defeating both Leenock and Jaedong on his way here. Can he beat one more Korean Zerg?
Yeah, the third Korean Zerg in a row, and this time it's for real because the winner of this match will secure himself a spot in the final bracket of the main event. And that would be a huge accomplishment for both these guys. So really interesting to see HasuObs already take out 2 Koreans. A third one might be pushing it, but he's been playing so well that it's definitely within the realm of possibilities.
Very different one. I would say, though, of the 3, if you were to weigh them, I don't know. Again, this could be just my bias. Maybe someone would rate HyuN higher than Jaedong. But, well, actually, no. I think in terms of accomplishments, you would have to put Jaedong even higher. HyuN would be the easier of the 3 Zergs. But I guess what kind of throws that for a loop is that HyuN is so different from them. Both Leenock and Jaedong can be very aggressive. Obviously, we do know that. But I think even their aggression is... It falls short of what HyuN can do. HyuN's super aggressive.
HyuN's definitely the bigger attacker. And like you said, HyuN would normally be considered maybe the weaker player, but he did just beat Deer kind of in a very impressive fashion 2-0.
2-0.
So, you know, HasuObs,
and that
whereas
build.
he might have been able to play more passively against Leenock and Jaedong, HyuN's going to be attacking him all the time. And the first map is Heavy Rain, and here in the top of Heavy Rain, we have the red Zerg player, Rocket HyuN.
And his opponent in the south, the blue Protoss, the Foreigner Hope. It is Mao's HasuObs. Now, Deer and HasuObs are doing the same build over and over again, so that's one thing to look at. But if HasuObs did have a chance to watch those games, I gotta imagine he felt or looked at the same thing that I'm guessing Deer's kicking himself about now, which is just, God, why did I ever attack? If I just never attack and sit back and let HyuN throw himself at me, then my super fast 3-base build can adapt and incorporate what I need to do to respond. And I feel like that would be the better game plan.
And there is a bit of deviation between the two. I mean, HasuObs, like he did against Jaedong, will get the pylon block here against HyuN. And it also looks like the drone scout will see everything, but HasuObs will probably go for a Nexus after this gateway. Not really getting the gas right now. And HyuN could block this, but he decides not to.
And this is exactly what Deer did, by the way, on this map, just one series before.
Yeah, he went Gate Nexus?
Yeah.
With a pylon block as well?
With the Zealot, too, afterwards. I don't know if HasuObs would do the Zealot part, because that would involve attacking. He doesn't like to do that too often.
He's going to get the core, but he has no gas income, so...
Yeah, a little bit ambitious.
It seems timed out a little bit weird.
A little bit ambitious.
And look at HyuN, he's actually getting 6 lings.
Now that's interesting. So there's that Zealot.
4 more. He's going to get a lot of lings. He's actually going
like
up
a
to
slow
8
link
lings.
cancel? If he goes up to 10, then we know he's going hard at it.
Yeah, he's going to try to cancel this Nexus, and you know what? It might actually work out. And
does he
actually, HasuObs does see the lings coming.
Yeah.
If he just Chrono Boost out 2 Zealots, you should be able to hold this, right?
Yep. Absolutely. It'll take, obviously, a little bit of micro. But
and he has a lot of Chrono Boost. There's no second Zealot on the way, though, so maybe he just doesn't see it, but the Mothership Core...
doesn't quite have the money for it yet.
Yeah, he doesn't have the gas at all.
There it is. So there's a Zealot. It will be 2 Zealots, and that's well before, because this first wave is just 4 lings, you got to remember.
It's a lot more. It's going to be 16, 18 lings.
Oh, in total.
He's definitely going hardcore and trying to cancel this Nexus, and if he does cancel it, that would be a huge win.
Well, it's not going to be a cancel at this point in time. It could be a kill, and I like his chances for it. 1 Zealot moves out. I mean, at this point in time, they can actually
get surrounded.
They can take on 2 Zealots. 10 lings.
There we go.
HyuN got to get around it.
Yeah, he gets one of the Zealots, will go down very quickly. The second Zealot will get between the mineral line, but still, now the Nexus is just under attack. And that second Zealot, as soon as that steps out, it's in trouble. That Mothership Core will help a lot. And there's another Zealot coming down, so... Actually, this is starting to look scary for HyuN now if he does not get the cancel and the pylon there to block off the
nice to have the probe there. I love that. That's due diligence, but not everybody has that probe there to do that.
And
still
looking
a lot,
at the
though.
worker count. Well, this Nexus is actually in trouble now. It's going very low in hit points, but I have the feeling that there will be enough, to keep it
HyuN
alive.
agrees with you. Wow.
And now it's 23 probes against 16 drones.
Oh my god.
So this was a great start for HasuObs, actually, and he's looking poised to, you know, at least make another really good start against yet another Korean Zerg.
And there's even more slowlings coming over here. But this is now walled in, a little bit sloppy there with the Zealots. It ends up working out okay, because he's wanting that angle.
One gets
That's
in.
3 Zealots in a Mothership Core, man.
Yep, HyuN, you're not going to do anything. Time to go home.
It actually takes Infinity slowlings to break that. Not actually, but
And that's
imagine
weird
if it did.
to see a Korean Zerg go for a kill like that and then not get it or even get close. It's like kind of just like a wrong decision.
Oh my god, he made a wrong choice.
Yeah.
That happens every once in a while. Behind this, look at how incredibly stagnated HyuN is. He's not mining gas at all. He doesn't have any huge drone saturation to speak of. He keeps poking and prodding with these lings, and you know, he's trying to do something with that, but he's not accomplishing much. And meanwhile, behind this, HasuObs has been left to chrono boost at his will, his harvesters. So he's just down 1.
Yeah, which is a good at this point of the game.
Yeah.
He's not been chrono boosting his workers that efficiently like he could have been. He was chrono boosting Zealots and chrono boosting Warp Gate and stuff like that. And he is getting that Forge again, which leads to thinking that he is going to take a faster base. Like Deer and him have been doing pretty much every time. And the nice thing about HyuN's build is that his gases are super late, so he was able to really catch up in workers. And his mineral income is pretty high. So he might be behind a little bit, but he's definitely not out of this game by any means whatsoever. And we'll just have to see when HasuObs decides to move out and take that third base.
There's the immediate +1. He is just at the 3 gateway, so it's going to be pretty soon here. They have so far gone up to like 5 sentries, and then they push out.
Deer did get his own build wrong the last game, going up to 4 gates, because it's a 3-gate expand.
Yep, and
this Overlord is in trouble.
HasuObs had the Twilight Council queued up and then cancel it because that's not part of the build. Well, he just did it now anyways. It's usually after the Nexus. Both these guys, I don't know.
Messing up their own builds.
We're writing a narrative that we don't necessarily know, but I like to imagine the two of them are messing up their own build over and over again. But yeah, it'll be a fast third Nexus here, and it's going to be the same thing, guys, and it's a really, really cool move. It's going to be 6 or 7 sentries, maybe just 5. 5 to 7. And then with Blink Stalkers, you push up the middle of the map and just aggro the crap out of the Zerg while adjusting to the tech that they seem to be having in response. It's really, really cool. Very solid.
Yeah, and these slowlings will try to peek back in. He did not see the Nexus yet. He will try to find out some information. But imagine if someone were to do this like 2 games in a row and then actually all in off it the last game.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the one step that's missing from their gameplay. HyuN up until this point will get his lair. Actually, he has the Roach Warren. He's getting 7 safety roaches, just like Jaedong was doing, which I like against this many sentries. You can get attacked at any time. And his creep spread is already looking very good. He's consistently creep spreading very well in all his games he's playing. He's getting 2 spine crawlers as well. And he's getting an evolution chamber, so going up to 6 gas as well. Do you think we'll see him play Roach Hydra again, or
I don't know.
a Muta switch?
I don't know how to predict because both of those don't sound too good or right to me. I know he likes his strong Roach mid game, and of course with Roach speed here, although that is completely standard.
He's getting a 2nd evolution chamber, so he's going to look
he
to
could be Roach
upgrade
Hydra.
heavily.
Yeah, and there's +1 range attack, which you wouldn't do if, well, I mean, I'm not even going to complete
And
that
a Hydra
sentence.
then,
There it is,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so he will do that.
And actually, look at that. HasuObs looking to be aggressive after seeing almost no units with the Hallucinated Phoenix, but HyuN actually does have 7 roaches already and 10 more on the way, so I don't think HasuObs is going to be able to get anything done here, but he might just be able to go home and, you know, get that +2. He's not adding a robotics page just yet, so this actually looks like pretty heavy aggression. Look at that, even on Hallucinated Colossus, trying to scare HyuN into making Corruptors or something like that.
And it did get revealed by
But HyuN's going
there.
for a counter-attack.
Oh, of course he is. He always does. A little bit of a Zealot warp in there.
This is actually kind of a scary counterattack. The Roaches will be able to take out these cannons rather fast. At the same time, HasuObs just going for it, and there's 4 spines and a lot of roaches. I don't like this position for HasuObs.
No. Again, he's trying to sell that he has a Colossus as a part of this, but the gig's up when he's engaging against the 4 spine crawlers. HyuN's desperate to throw units away, but this army poses no real threat. Those 4 spine crawlers are kind of a wall to that.
Really nice decision for him to get those 4 spine crawlers. I guess he saw that HasuObs was not taking the gases on his third base, So he realized that he was going to be under some kind of heavy attack, and getting those 4 spines really paid for themselves there, because if he has no spines there, it becomes a totally different story with the Blink Stalkers and the force fields. But right now, he did a great job defending, and he's got Roach Hider, which is great against just Blink Stalkers.
And HasuObs is so out of position. His best bet's to recall back right now, but even that would be really bad, I believe. Nexus should get focused down, and HyuN's going to score a big, big victory here, again through his aggression. HasuObs was rallying on the right side. He wanted to be the aggressor, but in doing so, it gave up the position, and now HyuN has capitalized. HyuN, interesting if he tries to go down that ramp. There are force fields here.
Yeah, but these Hydras are getting a lot of surface area, and I think it's not a really good fight for HyuN, but he's still trading quite nicely with these Hydras.
It's been pretty awesome. The sentries wander to the front and die immediately. The motion core died with about half energy, so after having claimed the third here, HyuN's in fantastic position. Now, again, he is taking this 4th base, and it's kind of funny because that's about HyuN saturation if you look at it. It's got about 4 drones there. Understandably so. This counterattack is the scariest thing to come HyuN's way, and if he holds this off, then he has to know he's got the game in the bag.
Yeah, as long as he defends, he should be in a great position. He is adding some more drones, but he does have so many units already. He really does not have to be scared. At the same time, HasuObs will try to retake that 3rd, so it's not like he's completely all in with his play, but from this point on, HyuN's next big attack is going to be so scary for HasuObs.
Stargates.
Yeah, maybe anticipating already a Muta switch,
yeah, I mean,
but it's not coming.
Having lost the 3rd, that's super presumptuous. I don't fault him for it because that has been kind of the rhythm we've seen. It's Roach, Ling. There were Hydra here, but not a lot of Hydra, so maybe that's what sold him on this, but he really can't afford that. He's going to try it anyways. Meanwhile, we have 2-2 upgrades kicking in, or excuse me, being initiated for the Zerg player. Meanwhile, our Protoss player is just at 2 attack. Yeah.
So he will try to do this after this big attack, but this big attack is really going to be the problem for HasuObs. It's so many Hydras, so many Lings.
That could be Corruptor too, though. Keep in mind.
It could be, yeah. Actually, yeah. That would make sense.
He's seen Colossus, or well, you think he's seen Colossus at least.
There's 1 now, so.
Yeah.
But this is such a big attack. Even with this Colossus, these Lings are going to try to get in, and they do get nice force fields though, blocking out all the Hydras. And there's a Photon Overcharge, so there's so many units right now, but HyuN does shoot with most of his Hydras, but with this 1 Colossus, and the Lings coming in from the side, I just don't think HasuObs has enough. The Colossus will fall, and now these Stalkers are just going to get eaten alive by all these Hydras spitting their venom.
HyuN has attacked his way into this winner bracket final game, and now is looking to take the 1-game advantage against HasuObs, who otherwise has been stellar in the PvZ matchup. HasuObs is going to hang on here for a few moments.
And the Nexus does fall, and where others make it look so difficult, HyuN just attacks and forces wins in the easiest ways possible. And you know, now he's up to 1,000 gas. And HasuObs once again lost his 3rd base. HyuN's got another big army coming right up, and yeah, Corruptors, like you said, to take out the Colossus. So the next big Hydra Link Corruptor attack is going to be really, really brutal for HasuObs to handle. And
it'll be 2-2, by the way. I mean,
yeah, 2-2.
He's going to have a solid 2 upgrade advantage over the Protoss army.
And that's been the other way around in most of HasuObs games, so this is a rough position for him.
And he's making Phoenix too. This is where the issues get compounded. Like, you're really hoping to face a meatless switch when you do this, especially having just lost your 3rd for the 2nd time. You really can't afford any kind of gas deviation away from probably Blinkstalker Colossus, but if you were, this is the Hail Mary. This is him saying, God, I hope you show up with 10 meatless. Please just show up with 10 meatless. And if he doesn't, he knows he's already dead.
And in this position, I think that's an okay choice. Like, you either guess correctly and still have a chance, or you just play as if you were even, but then you lose in the end anyways. But unfortunately for HasuObs in this game, it's not at all going to help him in any way to have these 4 Phoenix. There's how many Hydras? 21 Hydras and 10 Corruptors and 40 Zerglings against 11 Stalkers and a 2 Colossus, which are going to die very, very fast against 10 Corruptors. It's almost overkill.
And no Photon Overcharge, too, because annoyingly he's attacking like 5 seconds before he would have it. Focusing down the first Colossus, it goes down in record time. Second one as well. Nexus focused down. With this gigantic concave, and now Phoenix fighting Corruptors, I gotta believe HasuObs is already thinking about game number 2. HyuN, well played, sir. 1-0 in the best of 3 so far.
Yeah, GG, and HyuN just kind of destroys HasuObs there with his same attacking style that we've seen from him over and over. And I feel like it's kind of catching people off guard, because, like, honestly, Hydra Link Corruptor and Roach Hydra Ling attacks is something that we've been seeing for so long from so many Zergs, and it's kind of been figured out, and that's probably why people like Jaedong and Leenock do not really play that style, but with the way HasuObs and Deer are moving out on the map and kind of getting caught out of position and trying to pin an opponent on a certain build, it's just working out really well for HyuN, and they just kind of run into HyuN, and then HyuN has way more units than you expect, and they just kind of kill themselves against the wall that is HyuN. And so far, that's worked well for him.
It's another Zerg thing that has always been known to be super important, but you've been touching on this throughout the broadcast. HyuN has spread his creep really well. Every single time, this build, by the way, because it's kind of funny that it was Deer than HasuObs, because they're playing the same build. They get their army, they move up to the creep edge, and they're like, I don't want to move out onto that. And then oftentimes they don't, but it's already too late. HyuN has used that creep to get into position to make the choice for you. And each time, there's either been the failed push from the Stalker Sentry, or there's been the decision to not do it, but en route home, it's given up position. That's what's happened a couple times here as well.
Yeah, HyuN really getting favorable engagements and nice surrounds, and just getting Protoss players getting caught in positions they don't want to be in. And I feel like HasuObs, he might want to go back to his original really defensive playstyle. I think against a player like HyuN, that might work out really well. Because HyuN's just going to keep attacking, like, no matter what. HyuN's really not the type of guy that's going to make 50 Spore Crawlers and Swarmhost and sit there and wait, which is good for us and good for the viewers. But HasuObs needs to realize this and just go for a perfect army composition and wait a little bit more instead of try to push the issue.
Yeah, you have to know what you're facing with HyuN. Like you said, it's kind of funny to talk about player tendencies because everyone's human. So we could talk about how HyuN never does that, and in this game he could just because he decides to. But for the most part, much like in poker in StarCraft 2, you want to read off of tendencies, and if someone has a really strong tendency like HyuN, it's not necessarily going to be Roach Hydra, but it will be a mid-game aggressive opening. It's going to be Ling Roach into Muta, or Roach Hydra into Corruptor or Muta. Like it's the layer tech, like you were talking about. If that tendency is well known and strong, you got to play to that. You got to play to that. So hopefully this is the game where it kicks in for HasuObs, where he says, you know what, actually the aggression so far hasn't worked out for Deer or myself. Let's sit back, absorb that attack, have the sentries to make the Hallucinated Phoenix to determine if I do need to go Stargate like I did, or to continue to add Blink Stalkers, because so far, that was how HyuN got Deer, is he attacked. It didn't really work. It got held off for the most part. But then because he kept making units and Deer tried to take a fourth and moved up in tech and moved out himself, that was where Deer went wrong. So let's see if HasuObs can improve upon that.
And we are on Frost, and HyuN only one game away from qualifying for that main event. He spawned in the top left as the red Zerg. Rock at HyuN.
And his opponent, the lower left-hand side, the German, it's HasuObs. Won 3 EPS tours this year, I believe it is, or in a row. He's kind of on fire right now.
Yeah, he's just beating Goody and Sokka over and over and over again.
Hey, there's a couple others. There's Showtime, I believe.
Hero Marine. Yeah.
Hero Marine has gotten quite good. Who's the other one?
There's
got
like
a
Zerg player called
Tarantulas?
Tarantius, yeah.
He's good.
Yeah, your knowledge of the German scene is pretty good, actually.
My blood is German. I must know them. No, that's not true. It is, though. I do have German heritage.
German grandparents?
Yeah, both sides. They're not, they weren't born and raised in Germany, but their parents were. A couple generations down there. All right, HyuN on Frost. We saw him against Deer. In fact, it was kind of it was that weird game where Deer was doing these amazing stops and making all the right choices, and he looked so freaking Deer-like and so good. But then HyuN just kept attacking, and it freaking worked. It just did. So HasuObs he's had to have seen this, or at least talked to Deer or something. And he should be making adjustments. But also, isn't HyuN kind of prevalent in the European scene? Like I know I've seen him at the big European tournaments, like a Home Story Cup and DreamHack, but I thought he lived here for a while, or did I make that up completely?
No, he hasn't lived here, but you would think so, because he pretty much plays in like every online tournament there is in Europe.
That's what I was thinking. Okay.
But HasuObs does not really play in all of those, so I don't think they meet that often. And once again, HyuN will go for 3 hatch before pool, which he's shown to really like. But HasuObs doesn't care, because HasuObs went Nexus first into Gate, so both playing extremely greedy here. And neither of them will really get punished for it.
Even wait until 18 supply to add those gases on. I mean, this is a very greedy opening from HasuObs.
A nice touch by HyuN to see the Nexus with the Overlord and pull it all the way back. And now HasuObs doesn't know where HyuN is, so HasuObs is going to go all the wrong way. But also he hasn't seen any Overlord, so he probably go top right as well after this and just be super slow on the scout.
It would be very strange if you went top left after this. Nice move. It's a very subtle thing, but it means a lot. To scout your opponent last means that the window of time to have reacted to the 3 hatch before pool, if there ever was going to be one, is gone. You don't have that choice anymore. In fact, you could even argue that it never existed, because in order to punish this, you'd have to do a design play kind of blind.
A cannon rush or a proxy 2-gate, yes.
It had to be blind.
Like by the time your 4-gate hits, the advantage of 3 hatch before pool already kind of kicks in, so it doesn't really work anymore, except maybe 1 base 4-gate.
Yeah, that crazy build.
Which nobody does.
Well.
Anymore. And then one guy does it once and it wins.
I know. That's kind of like what Naniwa did with the proxy 2 gates. I can't remember which circuit was he beat with that, but it was...
I think it was HyuN as well.
Yeah.
In the last game. Game number 5.
Oh, wait a second. That still works against servers.
But HyuN went 3 hatch before pool literally like 4 games in a row, so...
Yeah. So Naniwa called him on it, basically. And guys, normally right now I'd be speculating about what tech and stuff like that, but and this is not being mean or I don't know, judgmental, but it has been the same build. Some players do this. They find a build, they train it, they iron it out, and then they go into a tournament and reveal it, and they just do it over and over again. And the idea is that at the tournament, if you're going to adapt to this build, be my guest, but I will have more practice against what you're going to try against it than you will trying against my build.
Well, actually, so far it's 3 gates. There's no Forge yet.
Forge comes after.
It's after the 3 gates?
Yep.
Okay, then.
And a few times they've even not used the Forge right away.
Yeah,
but this last game they started it right away. Oh no, this is the exact same thing. And then he adds the double gases, and he goes up to 5 sentries, and then he takes his 3rd.
So are you going to do this build at home when you get the ladder again?
I like it. I like it. I might. I've been doing basically this build minus the 2nd and 3rd gateway, and instead I go Stargate, and I take my 3rd under a Void Ray. But of course, if they go like
too nowadays.
Yeah, that one's more common. I see that pretty often. And then I harass and scout with an Oracle.
HyuN will scout and see the 3rd and 4th gas being taken pretty late though. But at this point he should know. By the time he sees the Forge, he should know what he's up against. And
yep.
I would still like to see them all in off this, because you can just get +1, get 6 gates and go. Because right now HyuN's thinking, well, this can be another 3rd base again. I'm totally sure about that.
That's what I think is the hidden trick we haven't seen come out of this build yet. Is just throw the probe over at the 3rd, have it dilly-dally for a little while. But instead of adding that 3rd nexus, you have 3 or 4 more gateways going down for a total of 7 or 8. And then just 8 gating off of this. And perhaps pulling probes off the gas of the natural. But we can wish all we like. It's not going to be that. It's 3rd nexus, Twilight Council right there. To put my monocle on again, I don't like the placement of this Twilight Council. I mean, it is the 4th time that HyuN has faced this build, but you don't need to give him the information. I mean, as we can see, though, he doesn't have it, but it's still just not a good spot for it.
Yeah, and so far, HyuN getting that roach speed again, once again getting about 7 roaches, so he's going to play pretty much the same way as before. Depending on if he will or not get a Hydra then, we'll probably see him switch against Mutas again at some point. And he's getting a lot of links, so he might want to put some pressure on. He has not seen the 3rd base yet, but he will be just about to see it, and after this we'll see if he makes more units or if he starts getting more drones once again.
Oh, I feel like I know the answer. There's the 38 Zerglings. Going to be more units. Should be roaches now. Or maybe even just more Zerglings. He's also getting the 5th and 6th gas a little bit earlier here. That has me thinking it's going to be Mutalos. Yeah, well, I think I said that just before the Spire.
You're an awesome commentator, Jeff.
Oh, thank you, Rat. I try. And there's the Hallucinated Phoenix. That's something we haven't seen in the past because their energy was used up. That's a lot of units outside the base.
Yeah, but that's a small ramp, and he actually uses 4 force fields where he could have used 2. But this is scary now, yes.
Yeah.
And Blink is far from done, actually.
Pretty good force fields. Gets most of it behind there, but there's so many Lings, and now the Roaches picking off the high-value units on the outside there. The Sentry's dying right and left. And this is just so expensive, and the crazy part about this is it's inexpensive for HyuN. It's Larva expensive, but resource-wise, this is cheap.
It's pure Zergling Roach, and he can replace that easily. He should kill off those sentries. If he kills the sentries right now, he's in another situation where there's no energy for Hallucinated Phoenix, and then the Muta switch just becomes that much more powerful. But HasuObs did do a pretty nice job holding this off. And actually, HyuN is not that rich right now. He's got 700 gas. He's going to be able to make 7 mutas, but he doesn't have a force-based finish at all. It just started. And HasuObs is up to 57 probes, and I kind of like his position in this game.
I do too. It's just a shame that, I mean, imagine him plus 4 sentries right now. So if he would have been a little bit quicker about moving down there and force fielding the Zerg outside of getting that concave, he's in like a game over, I win kind of situation. But as it is, I still don't dislike his position, like you said, but it could be a lot better. +2 attack has already completed for HasuObs. That's like clockwork for him, by the way. I feel like we were almost distracted by the fighting that was going on because HasuObs was so meticulous about chrono boosting and upgrading that +2 attack. I mean, it's only 12 minutes coming up in 10 seconds here, and he already has it. It's really, really strong. And then there's the +3 right off the bat.
Have you seen where the Spire is?
Let me take a look. He likes to hide it. Oh, right here.
All right. Yeah, it's in a pretty good spot. Yeah, HasuObs has not seen it, so...
It's definitely hidden.
These mutas are going to come in. He's getting 3 Stargates, but it's a little bit late. He does have most of his Stargates at the natural, which is kind of nice. He'll be able to blink ASAP on those mutas. Boom. 2 get taken out instantly. Now the ground moves into the 3rd base, but there's a nice little wall off, as well as HasuObs moving back his units while the Photon Overcharge will protect the natural. So I don't think this is going to go as well for HyuN as it has in the last couple of games, actually.
No, he's going to give up with the Roaches, try to take them back to get him to safety, but he won't get there.
Nexus is getting super, super low, actually. We will need more force fields. No, it will go down. That's a nice win for HyuN. If he wouldn't have taken the Nexus there, that would have been a really rough position for him.
Yeah.
But now he just takes such an economic lead that it doesn't matter that he lost a few more units than he maybe should have. He just is going to have so much money to actually replace them. And the Phoenix are on the way already, but once again, no range. I think the position is a little bit better for HasuObs than it was for Deer.
Oh, sure.
But still very rough. 8 gases for HyuN. And just non-stop aggressions about to happen to HasuObs.
It's going to call for a lot of patience from here on out, though. And I like seeing HyuN pick off a few Harvesters there. Does lose a Meatless, which is a little bit sloppy. But again, I can't stress enough, one of the kind of scary things about Meatless is that, yes, they're very fast and good at harassing, but they're also... They require more resources to be held off. And look at this, HyuN, he's just so aggressive with it.
Yeah, he does this every time.
High ground, but he can't make all of them, and he loses the 1 or 2 sentries that he had.
Yeah, there's so many Lings right here, making this such a powerful, powerful attack, and he'll be able to cancel the 3rd base again for sure. These mutas will fight against these Phoenix. HasuObs trying his best to micro, but another Phoenix gets picked off, and this 3rd base is going down for sure. And HyuN is up 70 supply, and he's going to have such a hard time getting back into this. HasuObs is after once again the 3rd base gets cancelled, and he just doesn't have the money to. No. HyuN can pretty much switch into anything. He can go Hydras now, he can go Infestors now, he can add Corruptors now if he wants, but HasuObs won't be able to keep up.
God, this is so weird. I swear I've seen Zergs attack before and not just outright kill these really, really good Protoss players, but every attack HyuN has done against both Deer and HasuObs have been just exactly right. Now he's got a 100 supply advantage. He's catching these Phoenix cold. I mean, now he's going to move in here with his Zerglings. He'll probably have to disengage here in a second, but the damage is done. The 3rd's gone. There's still a huge number of Meatless here. He's going to run Zerglings in there just to give him a little bit more cover fire, and in doing so, he's just chopping apart the Stalker mass.
Yeah, HyuN doesn't care. He just waltzes in with all he's got. He keeps rallying units across the map. He's injecting like a maniac, and
wow.
Big macro plays, giving him the win once again.
Welcome to the tournament. He's now one of your top 16 players.
He just qualified, that's true.
Yep.
He just made it. He's got to be really happy about that. Very well done by him.
I mean, HasuObs gets a big tip of the hat, and we're not done with HasuObs just yet. He now drops down to be the final boss for the loser bracket. So we'll see who he plays in a couple of rounds. But just to spend some time on HyuN here, I mean, Rhett and I very predictably went into this talking about how aggressive he is. And he did not disappoint. In none of these games were we wrong about that. But he is such a special brand of aggression that while we aren't the only ones that know this, I guarantee it, he's known for this. This is what he does. he was still able to bring it hard to waltz his way through that open bracket, and to not drop a single series. By the way, I mean it's done, but he didn't lose once.
Yeah, and where Jaedong and Leenox struggled against HasuObs, HyuN just kind of disposed of Deer and HasuObs the exact same way. That could have been the same player he was playing against. And it just seems like these little things that he does better. Like, he makes all the roach lings, like where a normal player might go directly for the third base. He decides, well, no, I want to be in between the natural and the third. There's no frozen overcharge there, so I can take a better fight. And then the little things kind of snowball, and he just doesn't let up, and he keeps attacking. And
he finds the army. That's one, to your point, too. It is outside photon overcharge, but also I feel like a lot of Zergs fixate on the expansion. They're like, these units are to kill the expansion. And then what happens is the gateway wall plus 2 or 3 force fields keeps them at bay, and the photon overcharge whittles them down. But each time, HyuN has just made a beeline to get up that ramp, surround the Stalker sentry force, and cut into the sentries. That's 600 or 700 gas from the early game. They are super expensive.
That stops the scouting afterwards as well, which is something that I haven't really realized that enough until I saw these games. If you actually kill the sentries once, you blind the Protoss for such a long time that it's actually just like a sick strategy in itself. Like, hey, I'm going to kill the sentries, and then you won't know what I'm doing next.
And that's what makes the Mutaswitch look so good. Is because they're not ready for it. And then in one game, on Heavy Rain, he's preparing for the Mutaswitch that never came because he can't scout it.
You can't know. He loses the sentries. You can't lose the sentries against HyuN. Lesson learned. For whoever has to play him in the actual bracket, don't lose your sentries because
you have to know what text.
You'll either get Roach Hydrid or you get Mutat, but whichever one, you're not going to be ready for it.
So again, congrats to Rockcat and to HyuN. That's awesome. It's a huge accomplishment. This open bracket was stacked with good players. HasuObs stole the show a little bit with his big accomplishments for a non-Korean, but HyuN, at the end of the day, is your guaranteed top 16 player. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, it'll be one of those loser bracket rounds. Do we know which one yet, producer man?
Well, Jaedong beat Nurchio, so it'll be Jaedong against the winner of Deer and Leenox. It's going to be a
that already happened. Okay.
Pretty sick match.
And we'll be right back with that fantastic match, guys. So get up, get a drink, go write nice things on Reddit. I'm looking at you guys that didn't write nice things on Reddit. And come back and be happy and join us for some StarCraft. See you soon.